In our last video, we added in the levels, the guesstimate levels of each one of the different floors. I didn't include the basement, but you see I've already added the basement level here. I've put it in as 14 foot 6 inches instead of 13 foot 6 inches because Alan and I recommend at least 11 foot clearance, and so I went ahead and added another foot to the kind of typical, just to be sure that we had plenty of room, plenty of space. So we're going to put in the foundation first, and so to do that we're going to come in and center the building in the building right here, as you can see, and we're going to put in the grid, and you'll see architecture grid. Now what the grid does, as I explained in the lecture, defines where the structure is going to be placed on site. And so I'm going to put in a line here representing the center for right now. Since this is a 4-bay, our little preliminary is a 4-bay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put a series of, and you'll notice it started with numbers, okay, and as I put them in, the numbers were changed, but of course that's not the order in which I want them in. I need them to run 1, 2, 3 across. So unfortunately now I've created a limit for myself because I can't repeat numbers. It won't allow me to repeat numbers. So I'm just going to put 0 here temporarily so that I can come in and place 2 here. Oops. See, it won't let me place that as 2. So I'm going to have to name this one first. 3 and 2. So often it's easier to do this sequentially from left to right or right to left. You would like the numbers to run right to left, and then the letters vertically from top to bottom is normally what I try to do. So I want to put in those others. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put them in. I found that in working with Revit, it's easier to just come in and place things in and then dimension them where you want them. I've just found that to be, in general, faster. Since I didn't change the numbering system, it didn't change the lettering on the first one, so I'm going to delete this just to show you how that works. Now notice I'm getting the green line. I drew a model line in here first. I forgot to show y'all how to do that, but I'll draw some more model lines here in a minute to show you. But this is should be ABC, right? So I'm going to and I'm trying to select it, but I can't get that one. So I'm going to hit the Tab key, and the Tab key cycles you through all the objects that are at that same point. And so you can see now I can get it. So I can delete it, and I'm going to delete this one too, and just redraw it real quick. So grid. This time, before I do a next one, I'm going to change. Now notice it even though I deleted those, it started the counter at the next one. So it has that memory. That's good and bad. And I'm going to do a Shift A, so it's a capital A. And now I'm going to continue to draw here. Okay, so now we got those grid lines. I'll figure exactly where I want them placed. As Professor Driscoll mentioned, sometimes it's nice to extend those grid lines into the site so that you can use those grid lines and tie the site what you do on the site back to the grid lines themselves. So let's look at, so you'll notice that it went A, B, and C since I changed that first one here, and 1, 2, and 3. Now some people like letters up the top, numbers vertically. I don't care, either way you want to do it, doesn't make any difference to me. But let's get these fixed dimensionally. So we know our bay width from here to here is not 16 feet 4, it's supposed to be 24 feet. So I'm going to select here and do 24. Do the same thing over here. It's not 14, but it's 24. And then here it should be 36. And here it should be 36. Oops. Evidently I was not in the mode. 36. Oh, I had not selected the dimension. Okay, so you'll see that my grid lines are now inside of, so I'm just going to go ahead and take them out to, now you'll see that they're locked together. You can unlock them or you can lock them back together by lining them back up, and it will automatically lock them if they're not locked. It's always good to have them locked. Okay, so as you can see, it's right to the edges of my building. So I'm going to delete real quickly these. I could hide them, but I think right now what I'm going to do is just delete them because I really don't need them. So now we've got our grid, and there's a couple of different ways to approach this. From a design point of view, I think I would start with the columns and then come back and put the foundation in. So I would do the first floor columns because that's what I want to control, and then put a foundation underneath it from a design point of view. Of course, from a construction point of view, what you're going to do is start with the construction, but I'm going to do columns first and then come back and do the construction after the fact. So on the first floor, right here, we'll see that our finished floor, which is a concrete slab on grade, okay, and if that slab on grade is, as I drew on the little sketch previously, if the slab on grade is going to be, it'll be a minimum of 6 inches, so we'll just assume it's going to be 6 inches. Then the footing for the column is going to be 6 inches below the slab. Okay, so the column's going to run. Now what we can do is put in another level, which probably would be helpful to identify where that is. So I'm going to come down here 6 inches and put it on a level right here. Okay, I may even delete that level or hide it later, but I want to put it in so that I have it as a reference. And then for right now, we're just going to assume our column is going to go from there, which would be the top of the footing. Okay, and matter of fact, I can redefine this level as top of footing. Okay, and so I want it to go from the top of the footing all the way to the second level, and then the columns for these to do the same thing. So I'm going to add columns in, and I'll do that in the next video. So that's how to set up your grid and get it ready to build your structure.